Welcome back, everyone, to the Executive Playbook. I am Mike Cammarata, certified financial planner and partner at Tide Creek Financial Group.
I'm Russell Berger, business and labor and employment attorney at Offit Kurman.
So, Russ, like we do many other times before we start recording, we just start chatting about whatever. We had the pleasure of seeing each other last evening at a networking event. And I would say the common topic amongst professionals that I have just come in contact with this week is how busy everyone has been. And I've heard the term like the floodgates have opened when it comes to events and networking, etc. And really, it's like as a business owner, as a professional, really trying to manage all of that stuff during this time frame of the year. What is it that you're doing, Russell, that helps you when it comes to maintaining balance?
Yeah, I'm with you. That's what I'm saying too. I mean, it's a lot of people being stretched in a lot of different directions because, the world is basically fully open at this point. But also you've got end of year stuff going on. You've got economic concerns. You've got planning for next year happening amidst, what we're about to embark on the holiday season. So there's a lot of different demands on people's time. And we're all trying to juggle all those balls at the same time. And, one of the things that, a couple of related things that I think have been helpful for me and are helpful for others, is having a good team. And I mean that in a couple different ways. One, internally, having people around you that can pitch in, or you can delegate work to. If you're the CEO, you're always the boss. It's always going to fall on you ultimately. But do you have team members who can work it up and put it in the position where you can spend the least amount of time possible on it, and you're ready to review and move on. And also I mean that externally as well. Can you leverage the people around you? Can you leverage your team of professional advisors to help move things along and operate more efficiently?
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. Our firm this week, we had almost a day long, I would say more like a half a day, just talking about the internal operations and what is it that we can do to be more efficient and really allow each one of us to focus on what we're really good at. Without having a team, we wouldn't be able to have that conversation because, we all as individuals would have to be doing everything. So I think, yes, internally, really looking at the roles and responsibilities that each team member, whether it's a partner or an executive or an employee, just really go back to looking at, well, what are these people's roles and responsibilities? And maybe it's time for a realignment based on interests, based on strengths, also based on weaknesses. Externally, I have a business coach. I hired a personal trainer. I have people that are holding me accountable to the things that I want them to hold me accountable to. That way I'm reaching my own goals, both personally and professionally. And when it comes to managing time, something that my business coach and I did years ago was color coding the calendar. And I have a color for business development related activities, color coding for client meetings, and then also color coding for personal stuff, because the personal has to fit in to my work calendar. Because my CEO at home would be very upset with me if I did not spend ample time at home doing things that we enjoy doing. Russell, do you do anything like that?
I'm a big proponent of the color-coded calendar.
Yeah.
If for nothing else, one of the things that I know people use time blocks, and I'm not fully into time blocking because I think as a lawyer, part of my job is to be responsive to clients, and when they have needs, like,
Mhm.
the fire alarm goes off and I got to get moving. So I'm not fully into time blocking, but I do like color coding my calendar because I can see what I've got going on that week very quickly. Like, am I too heavy on management? Am I too heavy on marketing? Am I too heavy on, the production hours already? Am I going to be overloaded this week? On Sunday, should I start thinking about the help I'm going to need for this week? Because I've already got too much work lined up. So I think those are, I think that's really helpful. I like you, I also include the personal on there. Um, uh, and I think that's a really useful tool for just kind of seeing what you have going on. I mean, it's the same thing with to-do list and kind of what do I have coming up? What do I need to be on? I mean, when in the practice of law, we always have like, the tickler system to remind you, oh, you've got this deadline 15 days from now. Like, you can't do this thing last minute. You better be working on it now and making progress. And I'll even put in like, if I do delegate the work, I'll, sometimes if it's a big enough project, I'll put a calendar invite. This is when the first draft is due back to me so I can review it. And this is when we need to get it to the client for their review. And, I try to be as organized and planned out as possible. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, I that's all well and good, but you still need, the help,
Yeah.
the the people to help lighten your load. And I think cultivating those relationships, in addition to, being willing to delegate work, or being willing to, like you said, like, ask for help from outside. Um, and whether that's someone managing you externally, or, just more of a peer, or someone, that you're hiring to help you. I think those things are all really, really important. Because, the other thing that I find is that, business owners will say like, yeah, this is important to me. This thing I know I need to work with you on is important to me, but it's like the 20th most important thing to me. And then sometimes it'll become like the 15th, and then it'll slide back to like the 23rd most important thing. And until it cracks that top five, like, it's going to be hard for me to spend a lot of time on it. So working with someone to, whether it's a business coach or those, advisors, counselors, whoever on the outside, to say like, hey, you should be bumping this up into your top five right now. Here's why. And you know what? I'm going to make this as easy as I can on you, Mr. CEO or Mrs. CEO, because I know you don't want to deal with this, but like, you really should let me do all the hard work and hand it over to you, and then, make this as easy as possible for you.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. So what I'm taking from all of this: leverage your team, leverage your coaches, consultants, peers, leverage technology. Let me tell you, I would not be able to remember probably 80% of the stuff that I need to do if it wasn't for this thing going off and telling me. Leverage a CRM when it comes to task related activities for your clients. I guess the good news is, Russell, is that there's help. There's help out there. Do not think you have to do it all on your own. And just remember, try to keep a balance.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like anything. Like, if you ask for help, people are likely to give it to you.
Mhm.
People are generally, I think, willing to share and be resources to one another. But if you don't ask, no one thinks to offer, or you get offered less for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like you said, I 100% agree. It's, leverage the resources that you have. I think most of those resources are often, eager to help. Um, and just tap into that, whether it's internal or external.
Absolutely. And be clear about what it is that you really need help with. Like just saying, oh, I need help with this project. Well, no one's going to be able to know what exactly they might be able to help you with that statement. Be clear, be clear. I need help with the data entry in order to get things started, and I just don't have the time. Hey, can you take this piece of information and start entering the data in here? Once that's in, then I can take it to step 2.
Yeah, absolutely. But I always, the clearer the instruction, the better the response is. And the better the work product in return is. So I think that's a really good point. When you're leveraging your team, internal and external, the more precise you can be, the better off you're going to be too.
Well, I don't think I could say it better than that. So we'll end here, folks. Thanks again for tuning in to the Executive Playbook. See you next time.
See you, everyone.